Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hi viewers, welcome you to the presentation of a research paper. The topic of this research paper is the fault detection and classification in centrifugal pump from vibration data using Markov parameters. This is Fahad Hussain. I am a student of NAD University of Engineering and Technology and are studying in third year in Mechanical Engineering department. And my group mates are Uwais and Yunus. So now we start our presentation. So let's go for our presentation. In this paper, we are detecting the faults in a centrifugal pump using Markov parameters. As we know that there are strategies to detect and classify fault in mechanical system is to use a time domain family of techniques which is known as only output method. In this research paper, we are actually comparing the pumps which were used for a specific period of time to the pumps which are not used. These comparison data were taken under natural excitation, that means we are letting the pump to work in a natural way and then calculating data. So now we proceed to a video that you can see in the centrifugal pump. So now we start with the introduction of the centrifugal pump. The most traditional technique for vibration based fault detection in mechanical systems is the frequency spectrum analysis. This technique is based on the fact that different faults generate different patterns in frequency spectrum, which can be compared to the spectrum of healthy condition to detect and classify the fault. Generally, vibration sensors acquire time domain signals and to evaluate the frequency spectrum. It is necessary to use Fourier method such as fast Fourier transform. An alternative approach to avoid frequency spectrum calculation in fault diagnosis is to use features extracted directly from the time domain signals. A state space stochastic realization algorithm called stochastic subspace algorithm or covariance driven identification algorithm is used to extract the eigenstructure of a linear system from unmeasured natural excitation. The criterion to detect faults based on output-only model analysis is based on the parameters of a normal distribution calculated from the residuals, which are determined from the product between a Hankel matrix of observed data and a matrix orthonormal to the observability matrix calculated with healthy condition data. A fundamental definition in the time domain linear system identification and in linear stochastic realization theories is the Markov parameter. This definition underlines the methods discussed before and has been used recently to detect faults in linear systems through the design of system invariance inversion based fault estimator filters. In this approach, the Markov parameter of a linear system with explicit inputs, outputs, and fault signals are used to design a filter which is able to detect and quantify and qualify the fault signals in sensors and actuators. A different approach to use stochastic realization method and Markov parameters is proposed for fault diagnosis in a centrifugal pump. The proposal consists on using the Markov parameters of pure stochastic models estimated from vibration data as features to diagnose the faults. To classify the faults, two approaches were adopted. Firstly, a distance-based criterion was proposed, and then the minimum volume ellipsoids algorithms was used to define the regions in Markov parameters space where each failure condition lies on. This method is validated using real vibration data extracted from a centrifugal pump under healthy and faulty conditions using a low-cost MEMS accelerometer. In this figure, you can see the different parts of the centrifugal pump where most of the faults occurs. This include impeller. The centrifugal pump include impeller, suction, discharge, relief hole, spillet seal with clearance gap, sliding ring seal, ball bearing, and shaft. Background: centrifugal pumps are used in a variety of different applications such as water supply, wastewater, and different industrial applications. Failures can lead to substantial economic losses and can influence the life of many people when they occur. So mostly when the failure occurs, it may lead to any damage of the property or maybe loss of a precious human life. Therefore, detection of faults, if possible, in an early stage and isolation of their causes are of great interest. The topic of this work is fault detection and identification in centrifugal pumps. Different approaches are developed with special focus on robustness. Robustness with respect to disturbance, unknown parts of the system, and parameter variation are considered. So here you can see a fault in the centrifugal pump. This is the fault in the impeller. So it is you can see this is broken. So this is the fault of the centrifugal pump which may lead to any loss. Now we are moving towards fault detection techniques. So what are the techniques that we can detect through which we can detect the fault in the centrifugal pump? So first of all, pump supervision and fault detection. Centrifugal pumps are used to transport fluids by the conversion of rotational kinetic energy to the hydrodynamic energy of the fluid flow. The fluid enters the pump impeller along or near to the rotating axis and is accelerated by the impeller, flowing radially outward into a diffuser. Pumps experience damage to their hydraulic or mechanical component. The most frequently faulting components are the sliding ring seals and the ball bearing. Although failure to other components including the driven motor, impeller blades, and sliding bearings are also not uncommon. So you can see failure in the centrifugal pumps mostly occurs in the ball bearing and sliding ring seals and many others like impeller blades, sliding bearings, and many other things. The term below lists the most common types of faults which are included cavitation. So first of all we are discussing with the cavitation. So what is cavitation? The development of vapor bubbles inside the fluid is static if static pressure falls below vapor pressure. Bubbles collapse abruptly leading to damage at the blade wheels. So you can see there is the cavitation occurs in this blade. Second thing is gas in fluid. What happens when a pressure drop leads to dissolved gas in the fluid? A separation of gas and liquid and lower head results. Number 3 is dry run. Missing fluid leads to lack of cooling and overheating of bearing, important for starting phase. So when the centrifugal pump runs, often it occurs the fluid missing, so it may leads to dry run. Number 4 is erosion and corrosion. So what is erosion? Mechanical damage to the walls because of hard particles or cavitation and damage by aggressive fluids. So what is corrosion? When the aggressive fluids such as high pressure fluids strike with the walls of the centrifugal pump, so it may leads to any erosion and corrosion. Number 6 is bearing wear. So what it is? Mechanical damage through fatigue and metal friction, generation of pitting and tears. So you can hear you can see the faults in the impellers and in the mechanical centrifugal pump. So basically you can see here the corrosion and erosion and cavitation in the centrifugal pump. Number 7 is plugging of relief boreholes. This leads to overloading, damage of axial bearings. Next, plugging of sliding ring seals leads to higher friction and smaller efficiency. Number 9 is increase of split seals. It may lead to loss of efficiency. Deposits. Deposits of organic material or through chemical reactions at the rotor entrance or outlet reduce efficiency and increase temperature. Number 11 is oscillation. Rotor imbalance through damage or deposit at the rotor. It can cause bearing damage. अगर आप थक गए हैं या आप हमारे प्रेजेंटेशन से बहुत ज़्यादा एक्साइटेड हो रहे हैं तो थोड़े रुको, सब्र करें, आराम से देखें, कोई धक्का मुक्की नहीं करने का. So now I would like to invite my friend Uwais to proceed next.
This is Uwais Ali, and my fellow Fahad have discussed about the basics of the report. Now I will discuss about the actual process of collecting data. So basically in this process, in this experiment, we are using low-cost triaxial accelerometer sensor for recording data of vibrations of a centrifugal pump, which is being powered by induction motor. The detail about the pumps and the motor can be found in table 1. Now proceed to the next slide. Here are the properties of the pumps are written about the model, about the rated speed, capacity, head, motor supplier, rated active power, number of poles. So in this experiment, we are collecting data about the vibrations of the centrifugal pumps with the sensor vibrational data from the sensor. So basically, in this experiment, we are we are collecting data about the sensor, and which we are by attaching sensor with the pump frame with a neodymium magnet as shown in figure as first figure. Down. Yes, here it is attached sensor. It's about a 3-axis sensor in x-axis as well as y-axis and z-axis. So the placement of accelerometer x-axis is plane along the pump shaft, and the accelerometer x and z-axis are radially, being the x-axis horizontal and z-axis vertical. This is all about the setup. Now I am going toward the experiment, that how we have collected the data. So figure number 2 here, you can see this is a hydraulic. Next slide please. Now I am going toward the experiment, that how we have collected the data. So figure number 2 is here. You can see this is a hydraulic circuit at position number 1. It is a kind of a well, or some kind of a bottom tank or a pump, some kind of a well in which we have collected the water. So basically here is a water reservoir. So at number 2 point, there these are the valve, and at number point 3 we have a pump, which is not under our consideration, because and we are not testing it. So at number point 4, this is a flow meter, which is giving us information about the flow of water, that how much water we are taking. So at number 2 is again is a valve, and at number 5 is a upper tank, which is also a reservoir. So at number 5 we have also uh, also have a kind of a flow. एक मिनट थोड़ा. The upper tank volume is about 8.4 meter cube, and it is equipped with a flow calming system. Its shape of a circular crown with a 2.6 meter of external diameter and 2.3 meter internal dia, and it is about 0.85 meter high, which interior is filled with about 100,000 of 0.02 meter diameter glass beds. So with this, flow is stabilized. In the tank, a vortex breaker built with a wood shape prevent the occurrence of swirl over water heads, and a mano vacuumeter at point 9 was installed to allow a fast visual verification of changes and operation point turning. Uh, the next slide, please. On the pump under study were measured in a sample rate of 817 Hz frequency, which was adequate to the acquire many harmonic of the rotation frequency. Since the centrifugal pump was operating with 75% of its maximum velocity, three faults were emulated in order to generate data. So basically here we are collecting data, three types of data about. One is cavitation faults, number two is rotor faults, and number three is about the fixation fault. Cavitation, has my fellow Fahad have discussed in the upper slides. The cavitations, uh, two valves were manually controlled, and the differential pressure on the pump output was monitored. When the difference was negative, it was considered that the cavitation was occurring. Incipient cavitation was distinguished from severe cavitation by its value when the pressure difference was just starting to become negative. The cavitation was considered incipient. Basically, it is saying here that when our pressure is going to be negative, that about minus 3 psi or about minus 4 to minus 5 psi, then the cavitation process is severe at the stage of severe stage. So basically we are acquiring data about this. So in the next rotor faults, in this system we basically are using two rotors. One is basically a healthy one and another is damaged one. So proceed to the next slide. Fixation fault is another cause of vibrations. So in the fixation faults, we have to uh, fix the bolts before the operation. So if there is a looseness in the bolt, so there will be a vibrations. So proceed to the next slide, please.
So now अगर आप थोड़ा थक चुके हैं तो हम आपको बताते हैं कि आप थोड़ा सा सह लें.
अभी करनी है
बोल जल्दी से मुझे.
So now I invite my friend Yunus to proceed further.
Thank you, Fahad. Now it's my turn. My name is Mohammad Yunus Khan, and I am here to discuss the computational analysis of pump by some fault detection or fault diagnosis by using Markov parameters. In this test, the sample of each test were divided into data blocks and Markov parameter were calculated. Each element contained the percentage and the number of classification of four data blocks extracted from the test indicated in the column as the test indicated in the rows. Next slide.
तो अगर आप थक चुके हैं और ये आपको कुछ समझ नहीं आया तो आप टेंशन ना लें, हमें भी कुछ समझ नहीं आया था.
Next slide. For example, the second column shows the 100% of the data block, that is 15 data blocks extracted from the test 2 were classified as belonging to the test. Next slide, please. Next. Now I am giving another example. Here you can see the data block of fault diagnosis of pump to be calculated. Now I am giving another example. Here you can see the fifth column shows the 33.3% of the data block, that is 5 data blocks extracted from test 2. Now for the accurate classification, it can be concluded the Markov parameters remains constant for all data blocks. We have to demonstrate each test as a stationary reasonable during each test. So the table shows that the column 1, column 2, column 4, column 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 were 100% grade accuracy with no cavitation. The logarithm results were satisfactory. But in block 3, test 5, the 20% were found to be cavitation on pump, means that is the 80% of the fault diagnosis. Similarly, in column 5, test 2 and 3 were predicted the result of 33.3% and 13.3% of 5 and 2 block respectively. It's mean the block 5 have 66.7% and block 2 have 86.7% cavitation on pump. So we have to solve the fault in pump with no cavitation in it, and pump work with 100% accuracy. But in this cases, we have to demonstrate it some tests to see the result, and the result of some data blocks were not 100% accuracy of another block which have 100% accuracy. Next slide. Next slide.
क्या आपको घर जाना है क्या? आप बहुत थक चुके हैं या आपको नहीं पढ़ना? तो चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. चलो.
Now the conclusion of this paper. So the conclusion of this test have following points. So the conclusion of this paper are the following points. Number 1, Markov parameters are educated features for clustering the fault behavior in each test. Number 2, an order greater than 2 does not have significant influence on the classification performance in the case presented in this paper. Number 3, the number of samples per block directly to the classification of performance. The most important point of this conclusion and of this paper is that the Markov parameter with lag 0 have more perfect result. So we have the pump working with 100% accuracy, but sometimes the pump have some cavitation in it, resulting of air bubbles inside in it. So the pump were not much working with 100% accuracy. So we have the data using a Markov parameter, data rules, time series of solving matrices to determine the fault detection in the pump. So when the test, the pump with some samples block per each test, so we saw the result of not much accuracy. So this is all about presentation. Thank you very much.
बस यहीं तक था जो हमारा था। चलें, अब आपकी ज़िंदगी होती है यहाँ पर आसान क्योंकि हमारी प्रेजेंटेशन हो गई है ख़त्म। हैव यू एनी क्वेश्चन? इफ़ यू वांट टू ask any question, then ask in the comment section. If not, just clap and chill your life. So thank you for viewing our presentation.